Okay, so looking back at this rough game to say the least. So again, I do think we got a pretty strong Axis player here so far, in my opinion at least. I think he's doing things pretty well, and I didn't really think out the turn, but C-Zone 36 and Burma, I think, was the right move. Um, which is going to be tough on me because I got to figure out, basically where am I willing to give and put up risks, basically. Because, like we said early on, this game's going to be all about determining where I want to throw my dukes down and just give him a shot, and where I want to, hold my ground and or bide my time. So it's an interesting thing because we got our four here, right? And we've got 30 IPC. So India, I could buy another carrier, bring this fighter, another fighter, and a sub in here. And again, I mean, he'll have odds against the sea, but does he want to wreck his whole Japan fleet with a U.S. fleet probably sitting up here in 58? But, of course, at the same time, he'll easily be able to take India if I don't have my fighters and load everything in here. And even if I bring everything in, he did a smart placement of these bombers and even this fighter and these fighters, all of this. The only thing that can't hit is his one fighter up in Tokyo that he just built. Everything else can hit India. So I'd have to pull these two fighters, land all my fighters around here, build fighters, land my Americans in there. But in a KJF, Japan having India isn't the worst thing in the world. Ideally not on J3, but I don't have a lot of choices here. To be honest, I'd rather contain Africa versus giving India to Japan, I think. Especially if I can get my Americans dumping in here and neutralizing Tokyo itself. We can get Tokyo neutralized and the C zone's dead zone because he goes in here, then that's not a horrible thing. Playing with different ideas with UK. I mean, we got to kind of plan that now, right? With Japan sitting on the doorstep, we got to make a plan now. But unfortunately, I haven't made a plan, even though I'm going to take my U.S. turn. But one of them is drop my destroyer, transport, take DEI, bring the rest of the fleet down here, where all he has is his fighters, 4 fighters that could attack me. Again, this would be conceding India, so I'd probably buy and drop a destroyer there and pull everything else out, or maybe even a destroyer and a couple subs just to. I mean, yes, he could kill him, but again, at least he's using up units this direction that is away from the U.S. I could just, like I said, just stack my fleet here and say, hey, come at me, and then move these guys back or keep them in. I kind of lean if I do that, I'll move him back, so I'll have, if he doesn't attack me, I'll have my 5 fighters and 8 units, and even the battleship, because I could go back and transport a unit back, right? That could hit back on him, so he'd really have to send everything there and be at risk of losing everything if he doesn't attack the fleet too. Or he does both, which I'm hoping would overextend him again for the U.S. if he takes his whole fleet in against my whole fleet down here. That gives the U.S. free reign, which is what we really need. We need U.S. to be blitzing. So otherwise, other option was drop a destroyer, pull the fleet back, dump everything in here, give him about a 60-70% shot at India, but that's with him using all his air again down here. So haven't fully decided on the plan yet here as far as UK goes, but US either way. We're going to come in here. The options are 64, 58, 59. The advantages of 64 and 58, he can't block me from C zone 62. So I could drop into these. Uh, if I went 59, all he has to do is put a destroyer here, and I can't build a destroyer, and I can't go into 62. So he could then build some other units, other subs, or whatnot in here. Whereas if I'm in 58 or 64, both of these he can't block me from attacking both 60 and 62. So this entire fleet can be working on dead zoning these two C zones. So you'll see me a lot of times, my US2, I'll go into one of these two. I like 58 better because 58 does threaten Philippines. Now again, he could build a destroyer here to block that for a turn, which I understand. But the ability to block him from building any C units in 60 or 62 unless he brings his fleet back, which then means India survives, makes it that much more of a temptation for me, if you will, that I like that aspect. 59, the advantage of 59 is he'd have to build a destroyer and pull a destroyer out to prevent me from getting Philippines, which he left completely unguarded. Now he'd be able to just trade that back, so it'd be a trading type of deal. So for those reasons, I like 58. Because I did get this huge UK fleet down here, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room, although I'm subtracting out this destroyer, sub, and cruiser, so not a ton. But I am going to go ahead and build a transport US2, which is very rare for me. I rarely build a transport US2, but I think I want to have the ability to sacrifice this transport if he wins, if he attacks and wins, because this is going to be like a 50-50 battle I'm offering him here if he sends all his air back. Again, if he sends all his air back, then India is safe. So I'm going to give him a 50-50 battle up here, which reminds me I need to check my defensive profile, make sure we have it set good. We need to be fighter before carrier there too. Right, because if I don't have fighter before carrier, then all he has to do is sink all the boats, let the fighters live and retreat, and then the fighters crash. Same thing down here. For now, if he takes India, then all he has to do is kill the boats and then the fighters crash. So we want fighter before carrier, even though it's not the max defensive power. It's what we need. All right, so the other thing to take into consideration, right, is he built, I believe he built a fighter on round 1, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah, he built a fighter round 1. Round 2, he built a bomber, a sub, and a fighter. So again, biasing towards the air heavy, which is not a bad play for Japan, I will say that. Which means, as far as my builds go, my base, quote, infantry unit of the sea is either destroyers or subs. Subs with a slightly better cost efficiency for attack, but equal cost efficiency as far as defense goes. Destroyers having the higher hit points, of course, but costing more. On the flip side, destroyers help protect against air, where subs do not. So I'm going to go destroyer build. I thought about just maxing out my sub, but instead I'm going to build 4 destroyers and I'm going to build a transport. Like I said, it can leave me 1 IPC left. Normally I build 5 destroyers on US2 if you've seen me, if someone's doing a high air. But again, this match I'm going to have to play risky, so that's what we're going to go with. Let's see. I don't think I got any attacks to do. I am going to... Russia's in trouble with or without this guy, so I'm going to bring him back, because I do have these guys that I can have in Persia just in case we go with a India type of thing. So 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, so we can bring my... Oh, wait. We be careful of that bomber coming down here with them having 3 transports, don't we? We don't want that bomber in Australia and getting wasted. So, what do we want to do here? Yeah, I really don't got any attacks, right? Going back after the cruiser. Not attacking anything there. So, yep, no attacks. Like I said, we're not going to be, I mean, for this turn, for round 3, West Russia's safe. Round 4, I doubt it. 5, it's definitely goner. But I don't think I'm even going to be able to hold at 4. Pull this guy back around. So the one thing I was thinking about, if I do end up losing India, right, which is kind of a strong possibility now, the good news is this next turn I can build whatever to make it just as annoying as possible. These guys are coming up, and then I can dump into the Atlantic on UK4 and start hopefully slowing down Germany a little bit, although at that point they should have enough momentum to take Moscow by 7. If not 6. I hope not 6. I think there's a shortcut where you can move all the units at one time. I never really did learn that one. I moved the, 2 subs at one time, but not the whole zone at one time. Someday maybe I'll learn that. We do need to get another infantry down, and might as well bring the other one down too, since he's got nothing going there. We only need 1, so we're going to bring 1 back just in case he does any sort of cheeky setups with the Germans. I like them in the middle, so they can go east or west. Yep, there we go. It'll be fun to see what he decides to do on his Japan play, no matter what I do. Just interesting, if nothing else. He's definitely got the upper hand, so he'll have choices. What do we got going? We got 21 coming in. So again, I think I'm just gonna avoid fighting anything. Oh wait, no, I do want to take Ukraine. That's right. So I'm just in ultra defensive mode as much as possible for Russia, right? So we're just gonna keep saving IPC, and whenever it generates 1 more infantry, wonderful. But one thing to consider here is he did put his 5 infantry here, and presumably because he expects me to trade these. But me sending 2 for 1s and him having all the air to trade with, and me having 1, it's just not worth it, right? So I'm not going to do it. It's just not an advantage for me. However, if I don't take Ukraine, he could bring 7 infantry, blitz 9 tanks down, bring his air in, and I'm not even doing the math on it, but I'm guessing it would probably prevent me from attacking him. Maybe not. I don't know. But he also has this group going up here. So the last thing I want to do is just basically, he'd have 20 units up here as well, and with a double stack, that maybe I could take out one of them, but then I'd be wrecked. I don't want him to be able to have a double stack going, is what it boils down to, especially not down here in Ukraine, because then that means Caucasus is gone. So I do want to take Ukraine. Still could probably potentially pull off that move with the fighters going up to Karelia and the tanks coming down here, but it may be worth hitting those tanks. I don't know. We'll worry about that if he does it. I'm probably overthinking things, to be perfectly honest. I think I'm going to pull a cheeky move up here on the defense, because I just, I need to get as much back here round 4 as possible. And I'll explain that, what I'm going to do here in just a moment. Good deal. Good deal. So I haven't fully thought this through yet, but at this arch site, right? I need to send one there so he doesn't blitz his tanks. That's a given. These other three, if I bring him into Vologda or down in Novorisk, potentially we could defend trading or whatnot. But I mean, ultimately, I need him in Russia. I mean, West Russia as soon as possible. So what if I brought off 4 and put an AA up there? People get a little squeamish when looking at AAs, and not wanting to send their fighters. So maybe an AA up there with 4 infantry discourages him from attacking here, since I can't remember. Did he take Karelian G1 on this turn? My memory is bad. Yeah, he stacked Karelia on G1, right? So G1 he stacked Karelia, but he did not bother to trade Arch in G2, or else he failed and I didn't look. Did he try? Yeah, no, he didn't try attacking it, even though he brought a fighter up here. So to me that means I'm gonna attempt, and I'm gonna just see if it holds him from attacking it there. Maybe the extra units will encourage him to attack it. I don't know, but we're gonna do that. I love the psychology part of the game. Just see what he does in turn here, what his reaction is. So, all right, I think that's going to be it this turn.